talk about the offense, Bill O'Brien's play calling through 4 games, rolling through the playbook. Jay, what do you think? How do you grade what we've seen so far with Bill O'Brien?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done well. I mean, I think there could be more explosive plays down the field to get the ball down the field more, as we saw more of that this past game. I thought they started getting into better rhythm offensively, and I've told you this before, and I'm just telling you, Bill O'Brien treats Bryce, and Bryce wants to be treated like an NFL quarterback. So what you're seeing on game day is what Bryce feels good about. He's not a big trick play guy. He likes to go right at you, likes to run the conventional plays. You got to have him, though, every once in a while to keep defenses honest and make sure that they're worried about, whether it's a deep threat or a reverse or things like that, that's going to kind of keep them off guard and keep them able to run plays down, especially from the backside. So I think, so far, I mean, they really haven't had to show a ton. They haven't had to really, show any new things, maybe wrinkles. And, as Coach Saban has said, they're not going to do a lot of things different. What they try to find out in fall practice and early in the season is, what are we really good at? And if we're really good at this type of concept, that's what coaches teach, is concepts. This concept, we can package it differently every single time in every single game. We can give you a different formation. We can give you different movement. We can give you different personnel, but we can get to the same concept that everybody understands and everybody runs very, very well. So that's what they're looking at now. They're going to go to those plays they feel comfortable with. They may add in a few things or some things off of things they've done back early in the year as they self-scout themselves and find, okay, what are some of our tendencies? What would they be looking for in this formation, this down and distance? What can we do off of that to create an explosive play, or just get a first down or get positive yards, stay ahead of the chains? That's what they're looking for in this game against Arkansas.
It's a big game for Alabama. I guess people have criticized Bill O'Brien for, maybe not having been as creative on offense to get guys open as, say Lane Kiffin or Steve Sarkisian. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there is some, I guess, some validity to that from fans and people that maybe criticizing Bill about that. But here's the thing: the guy knows football inside and out. He's seen as many or more plays than any of those guys. He can be creative when he wants to be, and he can come up with certain things. But he wants to say, look, we've got the talent. We don't have to be as tricky as everybody else. We don't have to do certain things, and he wants to line up and run the ball as well as they possibly can, hopefully a lot better. Even against Arkansas, we're seeing Jason McClellan really come on, other backs, and even as far as Jahmyr Gibbs, again, he's that scat back type of guy, really fast through the hole, a guy that can catch out of the backfield. He's going to use all those weapons, and I don't know. I don't buy the fact, here's a guy that was head coach at Penn State, coordinator with Brady. He's seen a lot of football, seen a lot of plays. He understands what to get through. But again, he's going to sit with Bryce tonight, tomorrow, and then Saturday and say, what are the plays that you like? What do you feel most comfortable with? He'll have that same conversation with them on the sidelines between series and halftime when they make adjustments. So, what you see is what you get. Bill's not going to try to please anybody. He just wants to win games, play effective football, and be really good at what they do using the great players they've got on that side of the football.
Well, Nick Saban was asked about the playbook, rolling out the playbook. Here's what he had to say.
I was wondering if you and the offensive staff kind of go through at all week by week how the playbook's being kind of incrementally rolled out throughout the season and kind of how you guys manage that.
How the what filled out?
The playbook is kind of incrementally rolled out throughout the season, or kind of how you manage kind of what you have in the playbook earlier in the season.
Yeah, well, we have a playbook, and it's really a lot of plays, more plays than we could ever run in a game. And you have to pick and choose, and you try to do before the season ever starts. These are the weapons, these are the things, these are the things that we need to be able to go through the season, and the players to understand, when we play certain types of teams that do certain things, and these things are better against other teams. And then you try to change the presentation each week so that maybe the other team has a more difficult time recognizing what you're doing and what you're trying to do. But you don't take the whole playbook, nor do you sort of reinvent the wheel every week for what you want to do, because it's what the players know and it's what they can execute. I think you tweak it from week to week. You add some things, you do some things that you haven't done in the past couple of weeks. And we do self-scout on ourselves each week, cumulative of what we've done throughout the season, so that we can see if there's some tendencies that we're creating and how we could, maybe break those in, future games and future game plans. And yes, I do meet with the offense about that. I meet with them about a game plan. I meet with them about, the openers that we have in each game, how we're going to start each game. Philosophically, how do we want to, go about attacking the other team? We thought, it's like in the last game, for example, we thought spreading Vanderbilt out and making them play in space would be an advantage for us. So that's what we did. Might not be the case against another team.
Well, there you have it. He said that you have a big playbook. They have one, and you kind of incrementally roll out plays. What was it like for you, Jay? And how many plays did you get to in that book, and how many didn't you get to?
Yeah, I mean, probably not nearly as many plays as they have now. I mean, just based on the type of formations and things that they do out of the spread and the 3 wide and all the different personnel groupings. But yeah, I mean, you come in fall, you have a playbook, you run through, you kind of figure out what you're good at, you really look at your weapons, the guys that you have playing, and say, how can we use them the best? Like with David Palmer, we started implementing where we'd bring him in motion, bring him around, toss the ball to him. Off of that, we had a counter. Off of that, we had a shovel pass. Off of that, we had a screen pass to him, and then also a fake screen back to the wide receiver. So it was 4 or 5 plays off of that look that was different than we'd shown at any time the year before. I think that was in '92 when we showed that after his freshman year. Really just trying to figure out a way to get the ball in his hands as many times as possible. So that's the key, is just finding out who are your weapons, who's the guy that needs to touch the ball 8, 9, 10 times a game. How do we implement something that's going to get him those touches, guarantee those touches, not just where we're hoping he gets the ball, but we know whether it be a screen, whether it be a shuffle pass, whether it be a quick screen, whether it be just a handoff through a jet motion or whatever to a receiver. How do I get him to touch it so he can make a play for us, get him in space, and let him do his work? So this is something that, Coach Saban even brought up, just talking about the fact that, you have a huge playbook, but you always narrow it down. Even throughout the week, you come in on Monday, you got all these plays that the coaches say, okay, here's what we think will work against Arkansas's defense, the way that they run their scheme. And as they go through the week, they window it down. He sits with Bryce after practice or the next day and says, what do you feel comfortable with? Or says, hey, you really look good on this one. Do you feel good about that? What do you like on third down? Here's the other thing, Mick, is that Coach Saban does such a good job of, is that throughout the week, and especially right now as the hay is in the barn, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, he sits with his coordinators and he goes through every single scenario that you could go through in a game. He's going to play it out mentally with you before you ever get there. So he'll tell Bill, all right, you got the ball. It's first down on the 10-yard line, 1st and 10 to start the drive. First play of the game, what are you running? All right, second play of the game now is 2nd and 8. You're a little behind the chains. What are you running? So these guys got to have answers for those questions. The same way on the other side of the football on defense, same thing on special teams. He is so detail-oriented. The only guy that I've ever been around that was like that was Homer Smith. Homer and I ran through – that's why I played so well my senior year, because I had played the game probably 20 times, no lie, throughout the week with him mentally before I ever hit the game and played it physically. So the game was easy because I knew all the answers. I knew what he was about to call because we'd already talked about it. He knew what I was comfortable with, and that's the kind of stuff that you see with Coach Saban as well.
Yeah, really amazing that you have that many plays and, that you guys are able to go out there and execute it at that level. Obviously, Bryce Young, a Heisman Trophy winner. But Bill O'Brien, you kind of touched on this before. He's no slouch. I mean, the guy comes in with great credentials. And as Alabama's offensive coordinator, he's only lost twice, right? One of them being in the national championship game with a depleted wide receiver group, and then the game at Texas A&M. But
the other thing I say about that is that, if you want to take it to something different, it's like a band, right? So a band, they look and say, okay, what songs do we have? What are our hits? What maybe we're going to add a new song for this set. Maybe we're going to do a different cover for this week. Well, they sit and go through that for weeks. They rehearse, and then they dwindle it down and say, okay, what are our best songs? Again, these are the hits, the ones we've always played. Here's the things that we're doing a little bit differently, but we're really good at this. It's the same thing. I mean, it's just all week long. It's just rehearsal. It's like adding songs to a band, and then you're going to dwindle it down until you get your set list, and they'll have their set list ready to go. Which, the script we talk about, the script is nothing more than finding out information. How will they line up against this formation? How do they react to this motion? And then you're getting intel. Guys upstairs, guys on the sideline, write down information. You take that information, it kind of helps you on the second or third drive, but it's really information you're gathering for halftime to make the type of adjustments you need to make. And you can make them on the run. And now with Bill up in the box, I think that's even good too, that he's able to get that information, whether it be from Braxton, who's on the headsets with him, whether it be from other coaches that are sitting there talking to him as well, from Bryce and the offensive linemen that are seeing things on the field. So that's all the things that go into it and making these guys successful. They need that intel. They need. I tell you, the best intel I used to go to guys when we were playing, and I would ask the offensive lineman, who can't you block? who can you block? In other words, I wanted to know, because they weren't going to tell the coaches. I wanted to know, how is this guy too tough for you in the passing game? If so, I need to give you extra protection. I need to get a chip blocker on the way out. Can you beat this guy in the run game? I wanted to know that information so I can not only have it for myself, but also share it with the offensive coordinator and say, hey, I think this is where we should go with the ball running it. I think we should go with the check with me with this formation, or this is what type of protection we need to have in the passing game to protect myself. Because I was also worried about me and not getting hit. And that's what most quarterbacks, as they get older and get more mature in the system, they're able to get up there and really affect the play in the run game and the pass plays based on what they're able to do at the line of scrimmage.